I know we talked about the trucks being flatbeds, correct?
Correct.
Are all of them flatbeds, or is it like different?
They are flatbeds, yeah, but there's different versions of flatbeds though. There's like 3 axles, 4 axles, 9 axles. There's step decks and all kinds of different versions of those. But predominantly, it's all in the flatbed market though, which is like heavy haul, and he does a lot of like different like cement and he listed
piping,
off
a
one
lot of
day a
different
bunch of
piping and stuff like that. And yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. And then where are these trucks going? Are they going like all over? Are they?
No, they stay. Yeah, they stay within about a 300-mile radius of Birmingham, Alabama. So, the nice thing with that is that they like the drivers are at home. He said drivers are home most nights and pretty much every weekend because he's doing dedicated freight. So it's just like works during the week. Like, so their drivers are happier. They're retained. They don't leave because they're not getting run over the road for weeks and months on end and getting burned out.
Right.
And the other beautiful thing there is that's less wear and tear on your truck, less miles getting put on, and if there is repairs, they're closer to home. So he can bring them back. He's got his own in-house maintenance. He's also got like on the road maintenance trucks that go out and do like on the road repairs, like on site or whatever. So it allows him to not have to hire on a third party that's going to charge you 2-3x what it really costs to do it, So that's nice. Why another reason keeping it closer to home is awesome, and not going out so far.
And you said the maintenance that go out on the road, is that like a 24/7 type of service, or is that
Again, like most of his trucks run during the day, so they're not running like he does have some guys that go over the road. He's got a few of those, but your trucks are going to be all like the dedicated local stuff, which is going to be just pretty much like during like mostly daylight hours. So like I'm sure his trucks do run if they need to, but like all of his trucks though, like if something was to break down, it's a lot of times it's during the weekdays during the day. So it's like almost like office hours, but not, I mean, I'm sure like from like sun up to sundown, but they're and we can ask him more on that one when he comes on, but that's my understanding of it.
Okay. And let's see. What kind of let's see. Well, so I'm guessing if the drivers go home and everything, they don't really have like incentives inside the truck, like a bed and fridge and all that kind of stuff. Since
he still runs sleepers though, so they do have those, he said, and we can ask that question too on like how often they use that, but a lot of them are what he said is home most weekdays, but all weekends. And I think it comes down to too, like some drivers, if they are willing to do like a few days or something like that, they can probably make some more money doing it that way. So, so that's, we'll ask him that question when he hops on here to clarify that.
Okay. And let's see. I have so many, just little stuff. I don't know.
Sure. That's all good.
The driver, I guess this one was kind of more geared towards the other partner was Landon, right?
Yep.
Okay. And he's not going to be joining us today, is he?
I don't know. We can see if he's around. What was the question? He's the one that does like the hiring and retention and all that.
He was the one mainly dealing with the recruiting of the drivers, correct?
Yep. Correct.
Okay, yeah. I was just kind of curious about that process and everything, and what kind of like incentives that he have, kind of backgrounds that these drivers coming from, things like that. Are the independent drivers?
With your truck, you're not gonna have to. Wesley has drivers for the trucks that are like for yours and the other 10 trucks, so he has drivers already in place. So, but Landon is kind of there for a backup if, like, as we bring in more trucks or if a driver leaves, he'll help find an additional driver for that truck or whatever. So that's what he's there for. Yep.
Wesley can also answer those questions because that really comes down to the trucking company, because Wesley's the one that offers like the incentives, like the sign-on bonuses, and they do like they do like referrals too. Like, so if they have friends that want to come in, they get like bonuses for the longer they stay too. And so incentivizes drivers to go bring their friends along. And he gets a lot of that because a lot of the you know, like once people are in there and you're in a good situation where you're getting to go home, but you're making good money at the same time, I mean, they're going to go tell their friends.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you guys are knocking down a lot of these questions. So
Right. Yeah.
We'd still
That's good.
love you to talk to him though too. He'll be on here shortly. He's probably just running late, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
We
Yeah.
we actually all flew up to Minnesota on Monday. Right. Anton's already there, but I flew up. Me, Wesley, and Landon all came up to Minnesota. We went and then we drove over to Wisconsin to look at a trucking company for sale on Monday over in Wisconsin. They've got like 7 trucks and 13 trailers, I think, like flatbed trailers up there. And it's on a farm. He's got like a maintenance yard and everything. And so we met this old guy who was willing to like sell it on seller financing, potentially take it over, give him like a down payment maybe, and then he'll stay on and actually work and like help us run the thing for the next year or two. So something we're looking at. It's a little further from the highway than we were thinking originally, like for trucks to have to drive over to it or whatever. But we definitely think there's connections there because the guy's been doing it for like forever, and he's got a lot of connections up there in the flatbed world, and just getting more connections to more companies with freight up in the Midwest. Because Wesley's got the Southeast and South on lockdown right now, and I think he's looking to kind of expand into other areas of the country too. So this could be our way to get our foot in the door up in more other parts of the country.
Are we avoiding California or how is
Yeah,
that?
Wesley can answer that. He's on right now with us. So Wesley, this is Jermaine. He did an LP with us. Is excited to get going, and we're just answering some of the questions that he had. And I don't know if you want to re-ask one of those. I think one of those was maybe better suited to Wesley.
Hey Wesley, how you doing?
Hey man, how's it going?
I'm going great. Thank you.
You asked if we wanted to avoid California, and at times, yes. It depends on what we're doing, but they make it hard for guys to operate sometimes. It's weird. Through the years. We've had tons of freight. It pays amazing to go to California, but we'll get out there and it always seems there's some type of other issue or a labor issue or we do a lot of oversize and we need a permit on a special road that no one tells you about. Something weird always happens, and then the rates are kind of terrible coming back east out of there. So we try to avoid.
Yeah, that's California for you for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of trucks do you for the? I know we were talking about earlier that they're flatbed, but what kind of like brand and year and
yeah. So I'm actually walking up to the top lot right now. All of what we have are either an International or a Kenworth, and they're 2017s, 2018s. Mileage can vary, and I'll get a list of that for yours and send it to you. We've got some guys coming that we just ran these through the shop, so all the mechanical and preventative stuff have all been done, and we're getting a warranty placed on it for any major components.
Right, and then
we're getting them cleaned out so the driver will be happy when they come in.
Okay, and then I think you said it on the video as far as warranty. It was like a 1 or option of 1 or 2 years, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense now that I've gone it. So I had not gotten the pricing on these third-party warranties in a year or two. The price has gone up so much that they obviously incentivize you to go ahead and buy the 2-year.
Right.
And I think it just makes more sense to go that route. It'd be a 2-year, 200,000 mile, and it's all major components. So obviously, if it needs a motor, right, it covers that. If it needs a transmission, it covers up to $8,000 of the transmission, which is typically all of it. The after treatment system, which is a big problem on everything built since 2009, it covers up to $7,500 out of pocket for it. So it's pretty strong. Those guys are obviously in the business to make a living too. So I will say we have to fight them most of the time to get anything done because we've still got some trucks that have those. That's any warranty. They want to say, hey, well, if you'd have done A, B, and C, then D wouldn't have happened. And we're pretty successful. We've got good relationships with the dealerships locally. because we've been, buying trucks and doing service with them for 11 years. And so typically I call those guys, the owner, and say, hey, we got this problem, and they'll push it through. So it's just a little bit of holding feet to the fire when they get a little wishy-washy.
Okay.
But we literally used it to replace an ECM with computer in it, in one last week on this exact same program. It's at the end of it, so we only had 10,000 miles left, but they covered $7,500 on that, so it was nice.
Oh, nice. So what kind of gadgets, and do you have cameras inside the truck? We were discussing the beds and fridge and all that kind of stuff. Like, do you have GPS systems, or how does all that
so
work?
every truck's required to have what we call an ELD. It's an electronic logging device, which also provides GPS location. We then have an outward facing camera, which you can get live footage on it, right? Safety goes in there sometimes if something's going on, and they'll go watch for a second to see if there's any bad driving habits. For the most part, it's got like a gyro type thing in it that tells you if they're hard braking. It obviously tells you if they're exceeding speed frequently, on swift, abrupt turns, that give them the ability to go and coach the driver if there's an issue. But really, the outward-facing cameras become almost mandatory. Our current insurance company actually requires it because it ends up saving money for the insurance company, even if we're at fault, they know that they can go and try to settle more quickly. But so, yeah, we've got cameras facing out. As far as internally in the trucks, they're all sleeper trucks. I would say I think every one of these has a refrigerator in it. They've all got storage. I'm trying to think. They got power inverters, which is important for the driver, to be able to hook up all their gadgets. Most guys, first thing they'll do is going to be mount a TV in the bunk to where they can watch their movies or play a video game at night when they're on their time off. So it's got all the stuff where they can hook up and have the ability to do that when they're sleeping at night.
That's
before they go to sleep, when they're getting their break.
One of the questions that, like, if these drivers are, you say home most nights and weekends or whatever, what does that entail for a driver? How often do they sleep in the truck, or are they away?
So if they're on a strictly dedicated account, most of those guys are home every night. And that's, ideal. Some guys want to do that. Some guys don't. And that's why I say we're talking with drivers even this morning to fill directly into your truck. And it really depends on the driver that we hire, because we've got the revenue to support both. But no matter what they come in, they're home every single weekend. And that's something it's kind of become industry leaning. It's not a standard now, but guys don't want to be gone 2, 3, 4 weeks anymore. It just doesn't work for them. And most guys are leaning now towards trying to get home every night. So we say that home, occasionally during the week, even our over the road guys, home occasionally during the week, but home every weekend, barring that the truck shuts down and they're 800 miles away or something, that's unforeseen. Now we'll have guys sometimes say, hey, my wife's going to ride with me and we're going to go run for, a few weeks at a time. And they want to go run a few weeks and see the country a little bit. But for the vast majority, it's, hey, if I can get through the house a time, maybe 2 times during the week, home every weekend, that's more than enough. But we do have probably 30% of the fleet that's home every night.
Okay. So I know one of the most difficult things are retaining drivers, and I know being home on the weekend is probably a big one. What other incentives and benefits do we provide for drivers?
That's the number one. They can go anywhere right now and drive a nice truck if they want to. The big super carriers that require you to be out 2 and 3 weeks at a time, they'll get you in a truck that's 2 years old or less. They can go anywhere they want and do that. And pay's gone up the past couple of years, so pay's almost not as important anymore. Even 401k, we offered 401k for 2 years, and I think we had an 18% adoption rate. Drivers don't care about it. They're like, spend my money for something else. If you're going to put money into me, and we offer 50% pay for their health insurance. We pay them $30 or $35, I think, any night that they sleep in the truck as a per diem. It's tax free to them. So they love that. They have to be out. Industry standard on that's anywhere from $30 to $50. We pay them if something happens and they miss a load. We'll pay them layover. It's the little things that add up because they want to feel like you care and you're not just trying to push puzzle pieces around. And that starts from me and goes straight into my director of operations, and both of us trickle straight down into dispatch and customer service. So it's a top down and always has been an approach. I've had 3 drivers in my office this morning come by just wanting to say hello. Open door policy. Every one of them have my cell phone number. And it's just, I think, the popular thing out there is, oh, come be part of our team. Don't just be just a number, be part of the family. Well, it's really easy to advertise that. It's a whole different ball game to actually do it. And we try to do it to the best of our ability. And I think those things go further than, and, obviously they want to make as much money as they can, but pretty much all of them are making good money if they want to run right now. So that's not it. It's where they know that their time and their home time with their family is important. And that's the big thing. And so by us having the good, consistent freight that pays really well, they can run your truck less miles. They can run themselves less miles during the week and still have a great check at the end of the week because we're getting better, pay per mile than average.
Okay, good. And then how are these drivers found and hired? I know you're letting us releasing your own trucks to the program.
Yeah.
So these
So
are
for the driver's side, we use 18
established
loaded.
drivers.
Yeah. Have they mentioned 18 loaded to you at all?
No.
Yeah, Landon. That's Landon.
So
Landon. Okay. Yeah.
So we're using his platform now to help recruit drivers. There's some retention stuff that we can probably do with his software, but we're also looking at a whole different program that is offered through 10th Street. Our contract's kind of up with who we use for a few of the things, and we're digging in with 10th Street. They bought a company that it's like this Drive for Gold program. And it's like a game, kind of gamification of drivers do certain little things, and it interacts with them, gives them the ability to say if there's a problem, if they don't want to call and say something, they can say it anonymously, but lets them earn little things for safety and all that type recognition. They can, buy stuff in this little shop with it, or gift cards or whatever that may be. But yeah, Landon's program is really good. But they take the same approach as any. They're going out and marketing on Facebook and other social medias, getting leads in that fit our profile of what we need. And then his software kind of send them a text and here's our DOT link. And then it comes to us for closing them and getting them approved, getting their safety stuff checked off. And then from that point forward, it's all internal. We manage them from that point forward.
Okay. You manage and train them and things like that.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. They do all their safety training here, all their continuing education stuff that's required, safe habits, you name it. Their drug testing consortiums ran through us. If they have to come up, we have to every driver has to be in a random pool. And so all of that comes here for that part.
Okay. We are hitting all my questions. That's great.
Awesome.
And I don't know anything. I don't know much about trucking, but my father-in-law is a truck driver, which is ironic.
Awesome.
So I will have to talk to him, and if this all goes well, he will definitely be looking to jump on board. He already has 2 of his own trucks, and he's
Nice.
he's local out here in California, in Long Beach. So he doesn't really
Awesome.
do over the road and travel over state lines and things like that. So
Yeah.
he's coming home every night as well. Let me see what else. Anything information I could get towards dispatching? I don't know exactly how's that set up and things like that. How does that go when dispatching a truck to?
Yeah. So our dispatch manages everything. Are you asking as far as just how the process works in general?
Yeah, the
or for us?
process, and like how certain trucks are chosen to dispatch certain locations and things like that.
Yeah. So it starts typically with if we know we have a need for dedicated, which we've got several places that we know we can add dedicated trucks right now. And if the driver lives somewhere that we can hire fairly quickly, that they live somewhere that fits one of those dedicated needs. If they don't, that's not going to prevent us from hiring the driver and getting them on the road turning revenue because we have plenty of our regional freight, right? And And so, but as far as how they're chosen on who gets what freight, it's a first empty, first pick. And we don't force dispatch guys anymore. That's died and gone away. You can't tell a guy, hey, this is what you're doing. I'm sending you to Iowa today. You have no questions asked. And we can encourage them and try to explain to them, show them how we're going to get them back home in time and all of those things, and how much money they'll make if they do say something that they don't really want to do. But otherwise, it's strictly, we prioritize freight. We're taking the amount of freight we need for any given week. We put it on an internal board that we have that tracks all that stuff. And the first driver empty gets first choice. Basically, we call them and say, hey, we've got these 4 or 5 loads, where you are. Which one would you prefer? Tell them where it's going, what it is, and what the rate is, because they're getting a percentage of revenue. And, they kind of can pick. It's the best way we found to kind of control it. And that way everyone's seeing the same board. Dispatch is all seeing the same stuff. And when the driver says yes, they put his name on it and it pulls it off where everyone can see it. And it goes straight into that driver's app. We have a driver app. And then in his app, he can see all the pickup information, phone numbers, pay he's getting, everything he needs. When he gets to pick up, it tells our software, hey, he's at pickup. He gets the delivery, it says he delivered, and he takes a picture of his paperwork. It automatically indexes it into our accounting piece and pushes it to where he'll start, we'll invoice it to the customer and it'll start showing on his settlement for that week.
Okay. And then would I have access to any of these datas that, where the truck is going and things like that, and how long it's been on the road?
Yeah. So we're working on a way to try to show you where your truck is. You're about to hear a train. It's going to be really loud. Where your truck is kind of at any given point. I can show you anytime you want. The problem is we just swapped ELD providers to a bigger and better provider called Samsara. And I don't have where you can only log in and see your truck only at this point. Again, you ever want to know, we can log in and show you. I'll FaceTime you, whatever you want. Problem is it shows where every other truck is too in the one screen. We're working on that. They tell me there's a way to do it. Haven't figured it out just yet. As far as your statement, you'll get a weekly statement showing, we pay monthly, but you'll still get a weekly statement showing everywhere that driver's been that week, what he did revenue per mile. If something, if he was sick a day, we'll tell you, hey, here's what happened. He, was sick out a day. So, he didn't have a load on Thursday or whatever. If there's any type of special information for the week.
And then speaking of, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Speaking on the driver being sick, how does that, let's say that the driver has COVID and wants to be home for a week or something like that, or, maybe he has surgery or, life happens, right?
Right.
So like, how does that, as from a business standpoint, do we have like drivers to replace, or how does that like kind of work out?
We try to do that, but it's very hard. It would have to be someone that's onboarding that's in a weird spot. However, when it comes up, we obviously make the drivers get us the proof that, hey, that they actually have COVID, let's just say, for instance, or they have a surgery. And we kind of gauge if it's going to be something that's long-term, and I consider long-term for our industry, something 2-3 weeks or beyond, we will probably go ahead and place another driver in your truck. Now, if he comes back and you're like, man, productivity's gone away, then we can put him back in your truck when it happens. Because we have, and we plan on having even stronger, but we have a strong pipeline for drivers. And so somebody's most likely onboarding that week that we could place in your truck. The issue gets to where, if, we can't pull them from someone else's truck just to make yours good. But I'm happy if there's ever extenuating circumstances like that, we can pause the truck payments, right? We're not going to sit there and let debt stack up. If we need to extend it for some type of extenuating circumstance, like a guy was out, 3 weeks because of a surgery. It's just typically if someone goes for a surgery or something that's going to put them down that long, I'm not talking about like they just need to have a tooth pulled or something where they're out a couple of days. But if they're going for, appendectomy or, knee surgery or something, in the back of my head, it's 50-50 of whether or not they come back in the time frame they tell us. So if they think it's 2 weeks, it's probably going to be 4 weeks. So we would go ahead and start trying to place someone else into your truck. And that's kind of the beauty of it is if you've got a good pipeline, we always have someone, probably in the onboarding phase. It may delay the other, client's truck getting on the road a week or so, but that's something we typically already have built in when we say, hey, we'll have a truck on the road in 30 to 75 days. most of the time we're going to have the truck hitting the road within 30 days. And so if it's an extra week, it's not a huge deal if they're just now starting, because we would rather have the ones that are already on the road, not have big gaps. So that's kind of the process there.
And then, of course, I'll be notified and things in that manner if this happens, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And outside of hiring and firing, we're happy to have an open conversation with you about it. If you're like, hey, man, it doesn't sound like he's going to come back, let's just go ahead and replace. Now, I would say we don't want to be perpetually replacing someone. We would rather just do it in extenuating circumstances. Not, hey, man, he had a bad week last week. It was his first week. Let's replace him. But we're going to be monitoring all of that. And if performance dips for the guys, we're obviously going to try to coach them first, try to put some extra love on them from our operations standpoint to see if there's something that's not fitting. But ultimately, if their performance, he's only driving 6 hours a day and shutting down at the truck stop, and he won't, with coaching, he doesn't respond to it, we're going to replace him with someone that will.
Okay.
It's not, it's not, we're going to let somebody just sit there and do half the work for no real reason, right? It's one thing if they were sick.
Okay. And then do you guys allow from like my standpoint contact with the driver? Is that like something that's normal? Or?
We've actually learned through experience that is not a good thing.
Okay, good. I don't like talking.
Okay, good. There's confusion that comes. We did a pilot with this last year, and the people in your position ran the driver off in every scenario. And not saying you would do that, but they started calling 3 to 5 times a day, asking every question on the planet of the guy. And they were like, I'm not dealing with this. I've already got a dispatcher that, I'm listening to, I'm talking to, and getting by. But, they were calling like, well, why didn't you make pickup? Why didn't you take this load? Why aren't you doing more miles? And I was like, this is never going to work. It's just better if they've got one main focus of who they kind of answer to. And so we're just going to completely eliminate that. It's not for a secrecy type things. It's for your protection of your asset and the revenue.
Yeah.
But the confusion of the driver and the frustration of it, it's not worth it, honestly.
Trust me, I know how it feels to I work in law enforcement, so
you don't like micromanaging either.
I don't need micromanagement. I don't need more than one boss. I don't need a boss that doesn't know what they're talking about and telling me what to do. So I get that. I was just hoping that's not part of the program, and at least on my part, I didn't want to have that kind of contact or responsibility with the driver. I trust that you guys know what you're doing. You guys have been doing it for a while. And you guys know what it is to say. You guys know what it is, what drivers are looking for, and the attitude of the driver in the program that you guys provide. So I definitely didn't want to be a part of damaging my own asset, as you said.
And that's the thing we learned, right? When we started that way the first time, it was obvious within a week. So much so it also kind of muddied the water, because the driver would call us and say, hey, I don't want to drive for this investor anymore. I want to come drive a company truck. And that puts an obvious conflict out there, and it's not what we're wanting at all. It's not the way we want to process it. So we want your driver to be yours, and we run them as they're ours, and we know what we need to get out of them to make money and to make you money. It muddies the water. If not, are you able to see video right now if I pull it on?
Yes, I am.
Just was going to show you some trucks here.
That looks nice.
So there's one that's an LT, that's a 2018 International. All of them have Cummins motors in them, which is just an easier to work on type truck. Kenworth T680.
Seeing it in person is different.
Looks sharp. Yeah. And so all of them have
real, right?
It's a lot different.
Yeah, it's
all
better than
some of the California trucks out here, man. Looks like it's well maintenance and everything,
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, we've got a guy that comes, and this one needs a bath, so it's dirty, but we make sure and clean them up on the outside for a good starting point for the driver, but also clean it up on the inside. Just, if a truck sits a week or so, just dust and everything else. Last thing we want is when a driver comes in his first day and gets in his truck and he's like, why is this thing dirty? We get him a fresh mattress, You know, they're not sleeping on a mattress somebody else has ever slept on, and it's
Right.
been cleaned up inside and out pretty well. So
So
those are
as
two of the ones
well,
sitting ready to go.
okay. And so as far as two things, as far as maintenance, do you guys have like a weekly, like, all right, we're gonna drop the truck off here and get the maintenance on every week or every, end of the month or anything like that? How does that, or is it just
Yeah,
when
it's not that frequent. You'd be really surprised. How far do you think a truck can go before it needs an oil change?
a month's worth? So I don't know the distance why.
Yeah, I mean it's 25 to 35,000 miles. It's insane how far these can make. So much so that they've introduced maintenance levels in between it, because if you only looked at it every oil change, something else is going to be an issue. So I'll walk
Okay.
down and show you. But we try to get every truck by here every 30 days, even if it's just for a walk around to see if anything stands out. But we have a software with a partner we call this local here, actually called Fleetio. They're a big startup, software tech, whatever. So, and they're not in Silicon Valley, they're in Alabama, but they have a program that helps us manage all of that. So we put the VIN number in on the truck. It tells us exactly what the factory recommendation is for when it has intermediary, just what we call wet service, or if it has anything that's desired on a dry service, filters to you name it. And so I'm going to show you down here. Anytime a driver comes by, if it's for paperwork or whatever it may be, we have a shop. You can see the bay doors. And I may lose you because the Wi-Fi won't cut on. You can see in here where we're working on trucks
All right.
every time they come through. So we can do pretty much everything on our own stuff. I was going to show Erik and Anton will appreciate this. I guess when Kelly bought trucks, they didn't have anything normal in color in stock.
Oh yeah, so we've seen the picture of that one.
That thing is green.
Yeah, money machine.
Yeah. So I just saw it today. I just got back today, Jermaine, and I was like, "What is this green truck sitting out front?" So
that's awesome.
But yeah, this is our facility.
Is there a particular logo for these trucks as well, or is it just kind of? I know they often get sold a lot and things like that. So, and
is there a particular what? I cut out a little bit.
Like a logo on a truck, or is there?
Yeah. So as far as our company logo will be on all of them.
Okay.
I can go back over here and I can show you. So that's required by law to go on them. It's got to show our company name, the city that we're domiciled in, as well as our authority numbers. So I can show you that if I don't lose service walking through here.
Investor in a little bit, but is the LD in? Do we have a update?
All right. Well, I mean,
I lost you for a second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I was going to try to get over here and get the Wi-Fi on. So this is our company logo. If you can see there. It goes on all the trucks, and then our authority. So that has to go on all of them. Sorry, the music's loud. Cool. Scott, guys.
Did you say you had a you have
just
like a
one
mobile,
more question? Oh, go ahead.
As I asked about the mobile, you have like a mobile repair truck or something too that goes out, Wesley?
I do. Show you that.
Is that like a 24/7 thing? Do you need it at night, or do a lot of your drivers not drive overnights?
So really on ours, we only cover primarily within 150 miles probably here, but I've sent it 400 miles before, right? So there's the service truck. And the only reason is because at a certain point you cross the threshold where the cost is nowhere near the savings to send our own truck to it if they're 400 miles away. There's roadside programs that we've got 24/7 that we call, and they, through the years we've built kind of a go, no-go list with people from a quality and responsive standpoint. Now, it's not to say that there's not going to be a time that you get in an area where there's no one to work on it, because there's definitely a shortage of people that can work on big trucks. But we try to have a good list of, hey, we're in, Atlanta, for instance. Here's who we'd like to use. But I've sent our service truck to Atlanta before, so Yeah, it depends on what it is. And if it's roadside, sometimes a state trooper will come by and try to get us off the side of the road or have us towed because they don't want us to be on the side of the road. But
Sure.
so we'll just try to get it fixed as quick as possible. But if it's something that's just a Band-Aid, we'll always bring it back here to do the permanent repair on it.
Cool.
And then, what kind of weather are these trucks going to be enduring down there in Bama?
Can you see? It's blue
Nice.
skies currently. I just came from the snow, so
You loved it.
Yeah, he
You
was,
weird.
loved
I
he was
it.
up
know,
in Minnesota. It was cold. Yeah, we
it's
froze him. there a couple
71 today. Yeah, 71 today and beautiful. The pollen's pretty bad. Again, my windshield's yellow, but yeah, the weather down here. I mean, we deal with rain and thunderstorms is really about it. We may have ice, a couple times a year in the winter is about all. And we'll run to some icy areas, but when the real hard snowstorms hit, we'll typically avoid those areas and wait a week or so and go back.
Okay, and then as far as your drivers that you brought on board, how long do they usually last? Would you say? I know they've probably been rocking with you for such a long time because you're such an awesome individual. But,
Well, so I mean, I'll say this: most drivers that leave our company, we have to terminate them for a safety reason. It is not typical that they're leaving because they don't like it here.
okay.
We've got plenty of drivers that have been here 6, 7, 8 years. But if something happens and a guy has a massive safety issue that, insurance dictates a lot of it for us, but we also have our own internal policies that if you do something that crosses some of these boundaries, especially if we're already having issues and it's, something that is recurring, you're in law enforcement. When there's a bad habit that's been formed and then you have something that causes a problem on a safety aspect, the next thing's an accident. And if we see all the signs producing, we want to prevent an accident. So we will typically release those people, based off our guidelines, and try to prevent that accident from happening as many times as we can. So I would say, most companies have 100% turnover these days every year. It's insane. I don't know how it happens. Statistically speaking, that doesn't mean every driver leaves. It just means if they have 100 trucks, they hired 100 drivers that year. Maybe the same 25 trucks, the same guys kept leaving every few months. But, I think our turnover, if you exclude people that we terminate, I think our turnover is like 12, 13%. So it's pretty solid. If you include terminations, it's only like 36%. So not a large turnover once they get here. But trucking the past 3 years, and it's something that we talk about frequently on the safety side with my director of safety, when we're looking at qualifying a guy that's going to come on board. Back in the day, it was a red flag if someone has more than one job per year. Really a red flag if they have more than 2 jobs per year in the past 3 years. But the pandemic and the driver raises created just musical chairs of drivers. So, we try to, on a case-by-case basis, judge, does that mean this guy just likes to job hop and it's a problem? Or, was he just following a paycheck because rates were raising every week? And, is it loyalty or is it he was just trying to find the next best paycheck? Because the last thing, if we can prevent from a hiring side somebody that's going to come in and quit in 3 months, just strictly because they want to go to the, grass is greener on the other side of the road, we try to prevent that. It's going to happen sometimes. It's just part of it. We try to, look into everything that we can. Drivers go through it to get hired. It's probably like getting in law enforcement, right? They've got to pass all these things, background checks and driving history and drug tests and you name it to get on board. Training, years of experience, minimums we have. So they kind of go through the ringer. So it gives us a kind of a decent look, and then we'll do a phone, call and try to judge character. But it's really hard to know, from a character standpoint, if a driver's going to be really good until you get him on the road for a few weeks. So
yeah, I mean, I get it. Like you said, working in law enforcement, we have guys that go through a whole maybe 6 to 8 month background, and then they go through the whole academy, which is another 6 months, and then first week on the job they're already ready to quit. So you spent a year and a half in the process, 2 years in the process, and when things get going, and they leave for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes just finances, or the money is good somewhere else. Maybe their environment is a lot different than they anticipated. So you never know, like you said, until you put them up to the test.
That's right.
But
I'll say too, a common thing, with guys here is obviously if they come on board and they're used to being an over the road driver, they sign up, say, yes, I want to be a regional over the road driver. They'll, have a daily night, kind of gig job pop up out of nowhere. And, sometimes they'll go take it, even if we're able to offer them something that would be comparable. It's, sometimes that'll pop up, but it depends. It depends on what it is. They think, if it's a different type of industry, they may jump just to try to do something different. We had one of our long-term drivers leave the other week because he was going to get to haul cattle, and it's one of his dreams to haul cattle, livestock again. And he's like, I'll probably go there 6 months and come back, but I just want to go experience this because I grew up on a farm. And it's like, all right, man, like go for it. The door's always
more power to you.
Yeah, door's always open. So
okay, yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't really have too much of anything. You guys did a real good job of filling in a lot of blanks that I have. It's a lot more knowledge, a lot more in depth than I thought, which is good. I'm learning. So
Awesome.
I guess just when we're gonna start making money, I guess that's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that,
Like I said
I'm
earlier,
good.
we're already working on a driver. So as soon as we place that driver, the truck.
Yeah, Wesley. Yeah, one thing I thought, some of these owner operators, I mean, some of them have drivers, some of them don't. Or out of the 30 trucks we have, how many drivers do we have in those 30 trucks right now?
Yeah, so in this program, the lease purchase program, we hire them as we sell them, essentially. And so he'll be, one of the guys that we've been talking with the past couple of days coming through the hiring pool. Same with if someone were to go with the bigger package and buy a truck, is once we sell it, we'll fill it. The tier one stuff's buying kind of the rights to the guy that's already on the road, and more of just a revenue play. But the upside on these are obviously greater for the profit split.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, and that's why, we put 30, I think, to 75 days or 60 days. I can't remember. Most of these will be going inside of 30 days,
Okay.
which, is pretty rare. But I think with what we've got and we've already got the model here, and we've got a great pipeline for drivers. I'm pretty confident in that.
Cool. Real good. Yeah, like I said, I don't have anything else. Guys done a wonderful job answering all my questions. If you guys have any more questions, or maybe what is expected out of me? Is there anything that's expected out of me on my side, or something that?
If you run across anybody who has, driving experience or trucking companies that maybe don't want to do it, or any kind of connections you have in the trucking industry, whether it be, anything you have there, just let us know and connect us. And we're always looking for connections, no matter what it is, a lot of times.
Okay.
But pertaining to this investment,
nothing.
There
really,
shouldn't be anything that you really have to do, right, Wesley? I mean, other than just you'll get your reports, you'll get your payments out, and it'll be pretty much, passive at that point to you.
That's right.
And the payments come out of the prior to the nonprofit, correct? They come out, everything, all that is taken out of the truck.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see a statement every week that'll show here's the gross revenue to the truck, and as far as that goes as well, we're an open book. We're not hiding revenue. I'll show you exactly what we invoice the customer. Obviously, I don't want to do it on every single load just because it takes time. But if there's a time to build trust there, we have nothing to hide at all on that front. But we'll show a gross revenue number. It'll show how much the truck payment was, insurance was, how much fuel was consumed, how much the driver pay was, and then the net that's left over.
Okay. And then the truck, as far as like the name, is still be in your company or your name, right? Until it's
Correct. It's still in that's right. It's still in our company name. And as soon as that last payment's made, we sign the title over to you.
Okay.
You know, at that point, your options are wide open. You can sell it and go recoup some money out of the asset. You can re-up and put it back in our program for a, you know, small fee, to go back on for another, you know, year at a time.
What
You
would
can
that
take it and
fee
run it
be?
somewhere else. That's all.
Do you have an
up to
idea
you.
of that fee to re-up with you guys?
I think
Is
it's
there a
only
number?
$15,000 at the end of the 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Erik and Anton making correct.
Yeah, I think that's what he put in there. Yeah, that's what's. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, that's what. So okay. So it wasn't written into your agreement, but it has been written into the new agreements. But yeah, I think there's going to be something like that to put it into the fleet or keep it running in the fleet.
Okay. And then did we mention something about open up an escrow for maintenance? Is that after the 3 years or?
We have the ability to do that. If you'd like to do that, we can always do it. We're buying these warranties to try to eliminate any big swings in that, right?
Right.
Then it comes down to, you know, a tire happens to blow going down the road or something that, you know, there will be little things here and there. We're open to open up an escrow account if you want. You know, maybe you want to get a few months in, pocket a few dollars, see what the revenue is, and then tell us. And for that, you know, guys that are currently, you know, owner operators or something, they'll do anywhere from $100 to $250 a week and put it in an escrow, and that money is your money. We don't take it. It's strictly for use on anything on that truck. And if there's anything in it at the end of the term, that money's 100% yours. There's no, you know, fees or nothing comes out of it. It's strictly a savings account. Otherwise, you know, if you don't put money in it, we'll just deduct it from the settlement. So, and we'll have receipts and proof of everything that was done at our software trucks. Like I say, we're getting the warranty to prevent anything that's major, right? Doesn't mean little things aren't going to happen. But that warranty's there to make sure there's not a random $12,000 bill that none of us were expecting.
Yeah, don't want that. All right. Well, yeah, that's it. I promise. That's it for me right now.
Cool. No, you're good.
All good, man. It's a big investment, man. This is great questions you're asking, though. It's good for us to hear it.
Good info. Yep.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Wesley, thank you. Erik, Anton, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. You guys, like you said, in California, a lot of things it's very saturated place and everything. And getting, you know, businesses and side hustles and things like that started here in the States is a lot more difficult. The prices are a lot more higher. I'm sure you guys are aware of all that. The markets are a lot more competitive. And so it's just knowing that you can have resources outside of here. It's kind of hard to think outside of California, especially if you haven't really experienced any other states. So the fact that you guys are offered this opportunity for people across the globe, it's amazing. And you know, and the fact that Wesley, you're in a market that's you know, it seems like you got it on lock. You know, that's also even more encouraging. So just continue the good work and you know, keep me updated, and let's continue to do business together and move forward.
Awesome. For sure. Look forward to it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that's it for me. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
Here.
You guys.
We'll be I guess we'll be in touch shortly with more information about your truck and everything, and like whatever, and maybe if you can put some stuff together too, Wesley, or get that truck list over to him, I guess would be maybe the next step or something, and then we can kind of move keep the ball rolling here.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay. Looking forward to all that information, whatever comes my way. Let me know what I need to do. And,
Awesome,
you guys take care. All right.
all right,
You too,
man.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Later.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.